Welcome to Básico Inglés 4.0, the radio show with Kyle Miller. Following class by class, step by step, the material of Básico Inglés 4.0 on Aprende Inglés TV. Class 147. Let's go! Beginner. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to class number 147. And we'll get started, as always, with a little review. Repaso, a little review of yesterday's material with the verb to go. To go. Okay, is ir, to go. But in the past. So every day I go to work. Yesterday I went to work. Every Friday she goes to the office. Last Friday she went to the office. Every year my brother goes to Canada for Christmas. Last year he went to Canada for Christmas. I went to Canada for Christmas as well. My brother and I both go to Canada every Christmas. We both went to Canada last Christmas. Yes. I go as often as I can. I go to Canada probably, twice per year. On average, I go twice per year. Last year I went twice. 2 years ago I went once. But on average, I probably go twice. Yes. Twice per year. So let's practice with a few sentences in the present, and I want you to change them to the past, okay? So every week, they go to the cinema. And you can say, last week, they went to the cinema. Last week, they went to the cinema. Every Friday, he goes to a baseball game. Last Friday, he went to a baseball game. Every weekend, she goes to the bar. Last weekend, she went to the bar. Every summer, I go to the beach. Last summer, I went to the beach. I went to the beach. I didn't go to the beach in Spain, though. I went to the beach in Canada. It's very cold. I like my beach, though. I like the beach. In my hometown, on the east coast of Canada, there's a beautiful beach. I lived, more or less, on the beach. I lived on the coast, the la costa, the coast. And the beach is very beautiful. There are a lot of very nice beaches on the east coast of Canada. The sand, la arena, the sand, is very white. The sand is very white, and the beach is very long, maybe 1.5 kilometers, a kilometer and a half. Really, it's quite a long beach, the big beach near my house. But the water's very cold. In July, maybe the water is 13, 14 degrees, so it's quite cold for swimming. Yeah. Okay, so last summer, I went to the beach. I went to the beach in Canada. So practicing now, though, changing from the present into the past. So every Sunday, she goes to the park. Last Sunday, she went to the park. Every spring, they go to the carnival. Last spring, they went to the carnival. Every Thursday, she goes to the supermarket. Last Thursday, she went to the supermarket. Okay, no problem, right? No problem. Easy. Let's move on and take a look at our translation list. Translation. All right, friends, it is time for our translation list. Number 51, this is a review of the list that we saw yesterday. Number 1, ¿estás bebiendo mucho? You're drinking a lot. You're drinking a lot. Number 2, ¿por qué me estás mirando? So remember, mirar, but to look at. ¿Por qué me estás mirando? Why are you looking at me? Number 3, estoy escuchando la radio. I'm listening to the radio. I'm listening to the radio. Number 4, ¿qué estás leyendo? What are you reading? What are you reading? Oh, I'm reading my student guide. Oh, good idea. Number 5, ¿siempre lees cosas así? Do you always read things like that? Number 6, ¿qué les estás diciendo? What are you telling them? What are you telling them? Number 7, él tiene un teléfono. He has a telephone. Él tiene un teléfono. He has a telephone. Number 8, ella tiene 2 hijos. She has 2 children. Number 9, él no tiene coche. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a car. Number 10, ella no tiene dinero. She doesn't have any money. Number 11, la factura no tiene número. The invoice doesn't have a number. Number 12, tengo muchos problemas. I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems. Yes, I have a lot of problems. Okay, well, not that many problems. I hope you don't have too many problems. All right. Well, let's move on now and take a look at our word of the day. Word of the day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the word of the day. Our word of the day today is alone, which is solo, en solitario. Like me today, I'm alone in the studio. Last week I had some people, I had Esther with me recently in the studio. Hopefully I'll have a guest tomorrow, but we'll see. We will see. Yes. So sometimes I have guests here, and sometimes I'm alone. And today I am alone in the studio today. It's just me. I'm alone. Alone. A-L-O-N-E. Alone. Okay. We can also say, when we talk about something, doing something, we can say to do it by myself. Today, I am hosting the show by myself. I'm alone. We have a difference here between doing something yourself and doing something by yourself. And for example, imagine I'm in my car and I say, yesterday I drove to Toledo. I drove there myself. If I say I drove to Toledo myself, I mean that I was the driver. I drove to Toledo myself. If I say I drove to Toledo by myself, then I mean that I was alone in the vehicle. If I drove to Toledo myself, maybe I was the driver. Obviously, I was the driver, but maybe my friend was with me. My friend was with me, but I drove there myself. I did all the driving. I was the driver. But if I drove there by myself, then we're saying I was alone. I drove to Toledo by myself. There was no one with me. By myself, or all by myself. I was alone, solo, en solitario. Okay, so now, as we move into the new material for today's class, we see the verb to finish. To finish. Every day I finish. Yesterday I finished. Did I finish on time yesterday? Yes. Yes, Kyle, you finished on time yesterday. I did. Maybe 30 seconds late. I think I finished 30 seconds late yesterday. Did they finish at 5 o'clock? Give me an affirmative answer. Yes, they finished at 5 o'clock. This class finishes at 6 o'clock. My program, The Verb Circus, on Mondays and Fridays here on Vaughan Radio, starts at 6 o'clock and it finishes at 6:30. On that program, I analyze one verb for 30 minutes, practicing, machacando, drilling with the verb, practicing inside and out. That's Mondays and Fridays from 5 to 5:30 here on Vaughan Radio. It finishes. Yes, it finishes. No, I'm sorry, 6 to 6:30. Excuse me, 6 o'clock to 6:30. Mondays and Fridays, the Verb Circus. It finishes at 6:30, yes. Did they finish when he finished? Yes, they finished when he finished. So give me affirmative answers here. Did Layla finish before Fitz finished? Yes, Layla finished before Fitz finished. Ask me if David finished before Natasha finished. Kyle, did David finish before Natasha finished? Ask me again, out loud, in both out loud. Kyle, did David finish before Natasha finished? Yes, David finished before Natasha finished. Okay, so in the question, I have the auxiliary verb, did. So did, and then followed by, did David, infinitive, finished. Did David finish before Natasha finished? Yes, David finished before Natasha finished. Ask me if Carly finished before Layla finished. Kyle, did Carly finish before Layla finished? Yes. Carly finished before Layla finished. Ask me if my brother finished before I finished. Kyle, did your brother finish before you finished? Yes, he did. My brother finished before I finished. Ask me when I finished the last program. Kyle, when did you finish the last program? I finished the last program yesterday. I finished the last program almost 24 hours ago. Okay. Now, I think I have finished with this particular point. Now we will move on, but we will review this tomorrow, so don't worry. Let's move on to the vocabulary of the day. Vocabulary of the day. All right, it is time for the vocabulary of the day, our 5 words of vocabulary. The first word today is salud, which is health. 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 Galleta. Galleta. This is a biscuit or a cookie. A cookie. It's more common in American English to say a cookie, but you can say as well a biscuit. A biscuit. Presión. Pressure. Pressure. And we use the verb to put. We put pressure on something. Or we have pressure, for example, a pressure cooker cooks through pressure, through steam. It uses steam to cook, right? Vapor, steam. El hombre del tiempo. The weatherman. The weatherman, yes. El hombre del tiempo. The weatherman. Colgar el teléfono. This is to hang up. So that's a phrasal verb, ladies and gentlemen. To hang up. To hang up the telephone. Please don't hang up. Don't hang up. Yeah, to hang up. When you stop talking, you hang up the telephone. All right, now the last thing we have to look at today, in today's class, is frequency adverbs. Well, we are going to look at 3 frequency adverbs. So, often, we can look at here, often, sometimes, and never. Okay, often, sometimes, and never. So, never, nunca. Okay, and then often is, you could say, a menudo. Quite often, quite fairly frequently. And then sometimes, a veces, sometimes. So often, often. We can also say often. Often or often. So there are 2 potential ways to pronounce this, often and often. You can say it either way. So, if I say, you don't go to parties, you can say, I never go to parties. So, using one of these frequency adverbs. Steve plays tennis once a month. Well, you could say, Steve sometimes plays tennis. It's not really often, but sometimes. He plays tennis sometimes. Jackie goes to the library every week. Every single week. Oh, she often goes to the library. She doesn't eat meat. Like Kathleen Hirschner here from Vaughn Radio, she doesn't eat meat. She never eats meat. Yes. I eat pasta quite regularly. So you can say, Kyle often eats pasta. It's true. Fitz visits Ireland several times a year. Fitz often visits Ireland. I go to Canada once a year. Kyle sometimes goes to Canada, or he goes to Canada sometimes. I don't go to Russia, though. Kyle never goes to Russia. You can say, Kyle, you never go to Russia. Do you ever go to Russia? No, I never go to Russia. Okay, we're completely out of time, so I'm going to stop there. But I want to thank you for listening. Also, I want to thank everyone who has commented about the show, who has written in. A lot of people writing with comments on the Facebook page for Vaughn Radio and so on. I want to thank you very much for all your comments. It's very rewarding. It makes me very happy to hear that so many of you appreciate the show. So thank you for listening and for commenting. And I'll be back in a few minutes with the intermediate class. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.